This man was sued by his wife for divorce. The judge read the defense statement and asked in public,
Est-ce que le mariage a été consommé ce soir-là?
Zbigniew was breathing heavily and his eyes were averted. The answer to this question was so difficult to say, but he had to answer it. He loved his wife, Julie, and didn't want to lose her, so he had to explain himself in a desperate way.
Dopiero potem.
Ce n'est qu'après.
Przestaliśmy się kochać tuż przed ślubem. To znaczy ja przestałem móc. Ale to przejściowe.
He asked the judge to give him some time. There was still love between him and his wife, but the look in Julie's eyes says it all. As a woman, she wants her husband to make her happy. If he can't, Julie would rather get a divorce and find another one. Eventually, the marriage was dissolved. In order to be with Julie, Zbigniew was smuggled from Poland to France, but instead of living in paradise, he lost his ability to be a man due to various pressures. After the trial, Julie threw her bags on the street and drove off without looking back. What's worse, Julie found her bank account, which is equivalent to a clean break. Zbigniew Saturday on a bench at night in the cold and windy weather. Shivering from the cold, Zbigniew has only one more baggage than the homeless man. He felt his empty pockets and was surprised to find a key to Julie's barber store, so he had a place to stay for the night. The next day, Julie sees him sleeping on the bench and is so angry that she picks up the phone and tries to call the police. Zbigniew explains that he came to return the keys, but he really wanted to keep his wife. He plays a little game of hide the key with her, and they seem to go back to the night before they got married. Julie is a bit soft and gives Zbigniew another chance. As usual, Zbigniew couldn't get it up. Frustrated, Julie burns the curtains, threatening Zbigniew to disappear from her world. And if she doesn't, she'll accuse him of setting the fire on purpose. So Zbigniew can only carry the suitcase and run away. Can a marriage last without sex? This man gave the answer, and his wife had no choice but to divorce him. In order to pay his way back, he came to the subway to beg. Uncle Janusz saw Zbigniew's predicament and started a conversation. With him, Janusz is also Polish and will soon return to his homeland. Zbigniew was very saddened to hear that he had come to a strange city for his wife, but now he had no place to live. He couldn't face going back to his parents and friends. Janusz asked him if he still loved his wife, and he said that he probably wouldn't be able to love another person in his life as much as he loved her. Then he took Janusz to his ex-wife Julie's house. He pointed to the house and told him that it was my home, and that she was going to turn out the lights and go to bed at this hour. But then the lights came back on. The lights came back on, and the two figures were entwined. Zbigniew looks at Janusz in disbelief, rushes to the phone booth and dials Julie's number. Julie puts the phone next to the bed to discourage him, and even though Zbigniew says "I love you" over and over again, he doesn't cover up the high-pitched singing coming out of the receiver. Zbigniew is devastated and begs Janusz to take him back to Poland. Zbigniew, who had been smuggled here in the first place and could only be smuggled back this time, threw away everything in his suitcase. He threw away everything in his suitcase and lay down quietly. Janusz sympathized with him. Janusz sympathized with him and brought him back without incident. Zbigniew, whose marriage had failed, didn't want to be a hairdresser with no future. He wanted to be rich. He wanted to be able to be rich, and he wanted to be rich. So he was introduced to a famous financial man, hoping to make it big with him. What he didn't realize was that he was offered a security position for the sake of his future development. He gladly accepted. Maybe it was God's favor. That day, when he and his boss went out to discuss business, his life took a turn for the worse. Zbigniew, pretending to be asleep, overheard a secret conversation between his boss and someone else. A big boss wants to build a warehouse here. They're going to buy the land. Zbigniew overheard the conversation and had a plan. He sold all his belongings and dressed up as a businessman. He found the farmer in the dark and bought the land from him at a very low price. Then he sold it to his boss for 10 times the price. And just like that, overnight, Zbignew's value skyrocketed. Not only did he become a big boss, Zbigniew not only became a big boss, but also invited Janusz to become a partner in the real estate development business. Zbignew's dedication to his business grew. Zbignew's business went from strength to strength. Soon after, Zbigniew became the president of an international trading company. But no matter how glamorous he looked, but when he's alone, he still thinks of Julie. He tried to get in touch with Julie to win her back, but Julie's attitude towards him was the same as before. She refused to meet him. Zbigniew was so desperate that he thought of revenge. Because he couldn't make his wife happy, he was thrown out of the house. Now the boss of a public company, Zbigniew wanted to make his wife regret the decision. He carefully planned a scam. First of all, commissioned a lawyer to amend the will, stipulating that after his death, all the assets of his ex-wife Julie inheritance. His move to the lawyer surprised, but can only be ordered to do so Then Zbigniew asks Janusz to hold a press conference, lying to the public that he died in a car accident on the highway, and spend a lot of money to buy a disfigured body from the Philippines, pretending to be buried in the grave. As expected, Julie came from Paris to attend the funeral. After all the guests left, she was still sobbing silently. Zbigniew, who was hiding in the distance, could see that she was still in love with herself. In the evening, Julie turned on the light and saw her sitting on the floor. Julie turned on the light and saw Zbigniew sitting on the bed. She was so scared that she had a chill down her spine. After confirming that it was Zbigniew, she was able to calm down, and Zbigniew told her that. Zbigniew tells her that everything was a plan to win her heart back. Julie is ecstatic to see Zbigniew in front of her, confident and powerful, radiating masculinity, and she can't help but make love to him. This time Zbigniew was not impotent. At last, he had risen to the occasion. The next day, Julie woke up to find Zbigniew long gone. Anxious, she calls Janusz to find out where Zbigniew is. Janusz says he's dead. We were at his funeral yesterday. Before Annie could say anything, a group of police officers knocked on the door. They suspected Julie of murdering Zbigniew for her inheritance. No matter how she tried to explain it, Julie, as the beneficiary of the estate, appeared to be out of her depth. She was arrested as a suspect in her ex-husband's murder. She realized that she had been set up by Zbigniew, and a few months later, Card, with his new identity, came to visit her in prison. Like before, she sneaks a peek at him through binoculars, but this time Julie sees him. This time when Julie saw him, there seemed to be no anger in her heart. She smiled and told Zbigniew in sign language that when I get out of here, we'll start over. Zbigniew slowly puts down the binoculars. Tears fall like rain. Instead of feeling happy, the elaborate revenge seemed to cause him more and more pain. It was like losing something important. This movie is 2 coolers, blank. Hiding in his wife Dominique's Julie Delpy suitcase, Karol Zbigniew Zamachowski is smuggled from Poland to France. A life in paradise doesn't unfold as expected, and in return, Karol is left with an enormous amount of stress in his mind. He even loses his sexuality and is kicked out of the house by Dominique. With the miserable feeling that his wife had an affair and a hairdresser certificate, Karol is determined to return to Poland to run his business and make a comeback. This is Seahorse Movie. Goo 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 goo.